This example is very similar to the other one where we have a table and we're going to be following instructions to fill in the rest of the table. So it says data was collected on the age of college seniors. The age of college seniors is represented by X. Complete the table by answering parts A through D. So the first thing that I learned was that the age of college seniors is represented by X. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to label this for myself. This is the age of college seniors. So this is important. I don't want to be looking back at the paragraph all the time to know what that means. First, I want to call your attention to some words. You always want to look at the table and understand what things are there. So this is deviation, and this is labeling this formula here. So we see this deviation. Do we know what deviation means? No, we do not. All we know is that this is how you calculate deviation in this case. We have squared deviation, and what we see up here is a square. It looks like the same thing. If you notice, let's take a look at what I mean by this. It looks like this formula is inside, but now there's a square. So they look very similar. These are all the things that I'm noticing to make my life easier. You will learn what deviation and square deviation are in your 1342 course, but in this course, what we want you to know is how to calculate and read tables so that you know what to do. Ready? Let's get started on A. It says find the mean. And we have some new symbols. This is how you find the mean. Now we have to learn how to read through this, and you already practiced a little bit of this on the previous example. So this is X bar. That's how you read that. This is going to be the sum of X, and this is just N, right? Now the next few steps are going to break it down for us, but you should never skip over a formula. This is what students tend to do. You look at that formula like, I don't know what it means, and you move forward. Don't do that. Stop, analyze it, and it's going to make your life easier. So it says part 1, to find N, see right here we're going to be finding N. Count the number of college seniors. What is N? So we're going to count our number of seniors. How many did we have? 1 senior, 2, 3, 4, 5. To find the sum of X, right, we're here, the sum of X, sum the ages of all the college seniors. Let's write the symbol. And that makes sense, right? Because it's the sum of X. X is the college seniors. So we have 22 plus 22 plus 23 plus 26. What does that give us? 117. Part 3. To find, we're putting all of this together. The sum of X divided by 9. It says divide sum of X by 9, right? So if you learn how to read this is telling you the same thing here. What we're going to eventually do is we're going to eliminate your instructions and all you get is the symbols, right? So that's why you want to start practicing on how to read those symbols. What is X bar? Round the mean to 1 decimal place. So we're going to be finding this value, and this is going to be X bar. So we have X bar is equal to the sum of X divided by 9. And you might be wondering, well, how did I know that what I was finding was X bar? Come back all the way up here. Let me point that out for you. So right now you're finding this value, and this value is equal to that. So that's how we put all of that together. The sum of X, which is 117, divided by 5. 117 divided by 5. 23.4. It says round to 1 decimal place. 23.4. Yay! I hope you're feeling super accomplished because you're learning to read those symbols. And those are often where students kind of just skip over something and get overwhelmed. So we're going to use X bar to complete the entire table. The entries in the deviations column do not need rounding. Finally, complete the last row. Right, if you felt a little overwhelmed, come back and look at this. It says use X bar to complete the entire table. So I come up here and I'm like, why do I need X bar? Oh, because it's here. So this is this X, and this X bar is that X bar. So we're able to use all of this information now in our table. Let me set up the first one. Remember, I'm still reading the instructions, so I'm coming back to the instructions, 23.4. So see, we're going to do that for all of them. It says, the entries in the deviations column do not need rounding. Let's look at deviations. So this, no round. And then it says, finally, complete the last row. So we want to complete the last row. Don't forget to complete this last row is what they're talking about. And we're ready. So I'm going to help you fill it out. And you're going to compute them. So I've set them up. Don't forget that we actually have to compute them, right? I didn't actually compute them. I just went through and quickly set them up. 22 minus 23.4 is negative 1.4. This is going to also be negative 1.4. This is going to be negative 0.4. This is going to be positive. This 24 is larger. It's going to be positive 0.06. I wasn't putting a 0 on this one, but you can put a 0 there if you want. And 26 minus 23.4, this is going to give us 2.6. Set up the next one. I'm going to help you set it up and you're going to compute it. Now you already have the values. You do not have to do all of that work again, guys. So notice this value inside is the same exact calculation that you have here. So we're going to bring it in. Do not forget your parentheses, and then we're going to square. This one, bring it in, square. Bring it in, square. Don't forget to actually square it. And then you're going to have sums here. I'll remind you, sums here. That means you're going to add. So this one we already know. We did it in step 2. This one you need to add all of these values, and then put your answer here. And this one you're going to add all of these values and put your answer here. Try all of these calculations. You're doing so great. You're learning how to read the symbols. You're learning how to read the tables. And once you have these values, then we're going to apply them with a formula. Part C and D, you're going to try on your own. See, you're going to bring in the information from the table. It says in the formula given, S squared is the variance. So they already tell you what it is, okay? Don't be intimidated by it. It says use the table values to evaluate the variance formula. Round to 2 decimal places. If you notice, we already did this. And all you have to do is the sum of, and you filled it in your table, hopefully. Then you're going to divide by n minus 1, and you know what n is. Over here, you're going to take the sum. You see how you already did this part? And you're going to have the sum, which you just did in part C. Divide by n minus 1, right? Which you just did in part C, and all you're doing is taking the square root. Don't be intimidated by it. You can do it. Read all those symbols carefully.